Hello, my little hackmons. So far, I have made 700 videos on this channel, on this platform, and I don't plan on stopping. To celebrate this random milestone, I said, let's have a Q&A. Ask me some questions, I'll answer them. I'll do some video requests. I only got 2 questions. So, I'm going to answer the 2 that I got, and then I'm going to turn to just some random interesting questions from the internet. El Demonio Kusanagi, I hope I said that right, says, who do you think is better, Shinra or Umbrella? This is a hard one because they're both evil corporations that have red and white logos that have hot dudes working for them. So, Umbrella is a pharmaceutical company, Shinra is a power company. I think y'all should know by now that any medicine developed by Umbrella is going to be bad for you. Y'all can just not use their medicine, you know that, right? Like, if the people in Resident Evil were smart, they would have turned to some sort of, like, alternative medicine, no matter how bullcrap and fake that sounds. It's better than, curing your illnesses by becoming a literal zombie. But with Shinra, everyone in Midgar relies on their power for everything. Like, Shinra goes out of business, your house, your video games, your fancy technology, all gone. Boom. So I'd say, like, from that sort of standpoint, Shinra definitely beats Umbrella. But just in, like, the how I like them, I'd have to say, even though they both equally have hot dudes working for them, I kind of think Shinra as well sort of wins this matchup. Umbrella, they created the hottest dude in the franchise, Albert Wesker. They're like, oh, we created a super hot human. Cool, let's go back to making monsters. Meanwhile, Shinra is like, okay, so let's create these angel soldiers, but have them also be super hot humans. Maybe if Crisis Core had ended differently, it would just be like a whole factory line of hot angel dudes. So, yeah, I'd say Shinra on this one. Okay, so I'm sorry, Woody, but I couldn't quite understand what you're trying to ask with this question, so I guess I'll try to answer in a way that makes the most sense. Creating original characters has been something I've done ever since I was a little kid. Original characters mean so much to me, and you're right, the majority of them, I would say, are some sort of self-insert ship. And the thing about these characters is that who they're dating is a big part of their identity, but it does not consume their entire identity. If you take, like, Fortuna on her own, and you just remove the part about her being married to Virgil and being Nero's mother, you still have the story of this woman with cool magical powers who started a cult and said, hey, I'll teach you normal people how to get magical powers too. They donate a bunch of stuff, do some bogus spiritual practices, and at the end of the day, no one gets any powers except for if anyone does walk in with, like, I don't know, super strength or something, she takes those powers away and steals them for herself. Still a viable, coherent story. Having the thing about Virgil there just kind of enhances it a little. And that's sort of the goal of all my characters is I got into filmmaking, actually. I want to be a film director because I wanted to make movies about my original characters. Not their love stories, their horror stories. But that begs the question, well, what about your original characters for franchises that aren't, Metal Gear, Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil, all that? Every other character I've created that's like a persona, self-insert, stand-in for myself in any form, they're aromantic asexual. There is so much more I could speak on this topic, but we have a limited amount of time and space, so I'll definitely go over it more later. Alright, now on to the random questions. Honestly, I'd say both and neither at the same time. I know it sounds weird, but hear me out. You can have the friendliest dogs, and you can have the meanest cats, but at the same time, dogs can also be buttholes, and cats can be extremely sweet and kind. So, For me, it really depends on the behavior of the animal. When I was younger, my school would do musical theater. Certain kids got the lead roles every year, and that's just because their parents donated the most money to the musical theater. So naturally, no matter who the director was, they were always the favorite to be the lead role. It's been going on for years, and I still kept trying. I still had that hope that one day I'd get a speaking part, because I keep getting ensemble. Try out for this play, I get ensemble, I get really upset, so I said I'm not going to do the play. There was some sort of accident. I'm very fuzzy on all the details, but the big thing I remember is that this lead male dancer, who was a big role, he was dancing and he stumbled into something. I think it was like a light stand or something fell on him, I think. Again, I'm sorry, I'm very fuzzy on the details, but he got super injured. I don't remember if anyone else got hurt. He had to be rushed to the hospital. There was blood on the stage, I remember. I think there might have been stitches involved. I kind of can thank the lousy system of picking favorites for me not almost dying. That would be DCI sheet music, because you can only ever find people's transcriptions of them on like MuseScore. If you do happen to have it on MuseScore and you happen to want to learn it, you can still view the score for free, but if you want to get like MIDIs and that kind of stuff, you have to pay for MuseScore, which I ain't gonna do. So if you want the individual part for any of your favorite DCI songs, you're gonna have to find a transcription for just your instrument, and chances are it'll only be like that one really recognizable riff and never any other part of the song. And then like as you just keep scrolling down, it becomes like less of here's a Blue Coast transcription to here is a shop that is selling coats that are blue. I guess the lack of results make it seem a lot shadier than it actually is. Like, being an obscure thing that doesn't have much relevant results on Google, it kind of feels like forbidden knowledge, doesn't it? I once recorded this massive 20-minute long video on the Roblox game Rainbow Friends, and how, as someone in the horror industry, it is literally the worst thing to come out of the horror industry. It was like 20 minutes plus of me dissecting everything, the character design, the level design, the lore, and basically saying like, this isn't even freaking scary. Took up a crap ton of storage space, and in the end I was like, you know what? I don't really think that a deep academic level discussion, talking about the psychological elements of fear being applied to a Roblox game about what people really come to the channel for. So at the end, I was just like, screw it, no one's gonna watch a 20-minute video on Rainbow Friends bad. So yeah, I just did the Rainbow Friends bad rant in under a minute. I speed ran it. Good for me. Mine is just going to simply be video game franchises. Literally, the words video game franchises, and from there I'll browse the news and see what's popular, and just to see, out of curiosity. I know video games shouldn't be the number one thing I'm focused on in 2030, but I kind of want to know out of, curiosity, but also this kind of weird fear where you're scared of something that isn't really consequential to your life, but you still feel on edge a little. I just want to know, sort of like Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, where he's like morbidly curious to know what's going to happen to him. I kind of want to know what's going to happen to all my favorite franchises. Like, will they still be alive? Will people have forgotten about them? Will they still be as good? Will they be pushing out crappy remakes and sequels year after year? And what's going to happen to all of my favorite characters? So, Vicky the Vampire Bat, she's sort of a multi-fandom persona. She kind of started very much leaning on Five Nights at Freddy's, but she could basically be a persona for any fandom that has furry characters in it. So this all depends on if we're talking like furry, if we're talking the animatronic one. If we're talking like full-fledged furry, I wake up, I'm Vicky the Vampire Bat. Obviously, you know, if you wake up as a flying creature, the first thing you're gonna want to do is fly, but I don't want to just yeet myself off a cliff immediately the day I turn into a purple bat, so I think I'd probably study up on, like, how real-life bats fly, hoping that the same applies to giant anthro bats, or just wait until some other people make a tutorial on how to fly, and then just fly around. Now, if we're talking the animatronic Vicky, I would get a job at Chuck E. Cheese. I think we all know where this is going. I would get some sort of mundane job, like making pizzas or something, and I wouldn't hurt anyone, I swear, I wouldn't hurt a fly, but I would do little subtle things just to frick with people. You know, they're like, was that giant animatronic bat always at Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah, it always was. This is the bat. I was always here. Keep moving along. Eat your pizza. Get some ketchup packets, spell out "It's me" on the wall, and just really screw over the people that really thought that FNAF was based on a real Chuck E. Cheese incident. I get a mannequin head, I show up to work early, I put it in my mouth. Oh my god, it's the bite of 87! I override the radio system, put the music box on. Like, it's not hurting anyone. They just think they're in danger when really it's just a giant purple bat just fricking with everyone. This is canon now. This is so canon. I don't know what it's canon to, but this idea is so freaking funny that I have to revisit it someday. It'll be all for now, my little Hackmons. If you have any questions whatsoever about anything, drop them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed.